Hello everyone, how are you all? It's Laura here from See Clear Counselling and welcome to another live video on this Tuesday afternoon. So this week we're going to talk about the drama triangle. So why am I going to talk about the drama triangle? Well, the drama triangle I thought I would talk about, be helpful to people, because I've noticed in my counselling room and also in the anxiety support group that I run that quite often if there is conflict with other people, disagreements with others, that this can really cause a lot of anxiety for people, and they're not really understanding what they can do to enable them to get away from this conflict. Hello Alex, oh you're in Poole this week rather than Cornwall, so welcome back to Poole. And if you're watching, then please do give me a wave, say hello, a thumbs up, and as I'm talking, if there's things that resonate with you, then do please let me know with little emojis and things. So as always, I will put the replay of this onto my Facebook page, See Clear Counselling, and if you're watching the replay, then kindly put in the comments hashtag replay, and that lets me know how many other people it's reaching. And as always, I'll write a blog on this and I will put that onto my See Clear Counselling website, www.seeclearcounselling.co.uk. And if anxiety is something that you struggle with, then why not join the Facebook support group, Beating Anxiety. We started it at the beginning of COVID-19 to help, but it's called Beating Anxiety Through COVID-19 and Beyond. So just do a search in the Facebook bar, answer the questions and come and join us, and give you some support around your anxiety. So we're going to, as I say, talk about the drama triangle. And over the last few weeks, I've talked a lot about cognitive behavioural therapy, but the drama triangle sits within what we call, and I can never say it properly, but it sits within what we call transactional analysis. I have to say it really slowly because there's too many S's. So it sits in a psychology called transactional analysis, and this was introduced by a psychologist called Eric Berne. And one of his students, Dr. Stephen Cartman, introduced this drama triangle. And I love transactional analysis, TA for short, which is much easier to say, because it very much looks at your relationships with other people. And it's been used quite a lot in business psychology as well, to look at how building teams and relationships that people have at work. But it's really, really useful to look at your relationships with others. And a lot of what it looks at, and one of the key books that Eric Berne wrote was The Games People Play. And actually through life, you'll find that a lot of games are played out. And the drama triangle tends to be played out at times of conflict, disagreement, and at difficult times. And actually, if you're a soap opera fan or a reality TV fan, then after we've spoken about the drama triangle and you watch a soap opera or a reality TV show, you will likely see this played out in the shows, because soap operas very much feed on drama triangles. And even as children, we were fed this drama triangle because fairy tales are almost based on this drama triangle. So let's take Cinderella, for instance. The drama triangle consists of 3 roles that people play. So they're not actually real. You can kind of look at them as a real personality, but actually it's the role that someone's playing within that disagreement or that conflict. So the drama triangle is an inverted triangle. So you have 3 people on the triangle. At the bottom in this inverted triangle, you have the victim, who is in a one down position. And then at the top, you have a persecutor and a rescuer. And both of these are in a position of control over the victim. So if we take, for instance, Cinderella, we have Cinderella clearly sitting as the victim at the bottom of the triangle. We have the ugly sisters as the persecutors, and we have Prince Charming as your rescuer. All seems really simple, doesn't it? And I am just going to try and keep it as simple as possible because we can really get into quite a lot of detail with it, but only 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep it as basic as possible. So let's say, for example, we're in some conflict with someone. So let's take some examples. A husband and wife. Maybe the wife has done something that disappointed the in-laws, and so the husband is coming to her rescue. The parents, the in-laws see this, and then they become the persecutor because they then start saying to the wife, who's the victim, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that. And the husband is saying, she didn't mean to, it's okay. And so she's got two people telling her as the victim what she should be doing and trying to rescue her. Or say, for example, at work, you've got the boss and the secretary, and the boss is perhaps telling the secretary that she's done a rubbish job, she shouldn't have done it that way, why did she do that? And one of the colleagues comes to the rescue of the secretary. Now, all the while, once you've stepped onto that triangle, all the while you play that role, you are continuing to stay on that drama triangle. And in order to stop whatever conflict there is, you need to step off. So let's go into those roles in a little bit more detail, shall we? So at the bottom, we've got the victim. The victim saying, poor me, I feel oppressed, I'm powerless, I'm helpless, I'm ashamed, I can't take any responsibility for what's happening. Now, sometimes inadvertently, that victim will then be saying, I'm looking for a persecutor to blame me for what I've done. So they will look for the persecutor to put them down and say, blame me for this. And the persecutor will quite happily discount them, make them feel unworthy, rejected, and confirm that they are truly in that victim role. The victim might be looking for a rescuer and saying, I need someone to help me. And the rescuer sees that and comes in, marches in and says, I can help you, don't worry about this. I can sort this out for you. The victim's saying, I can't cope. The rescuer's saying, I can do this, I'll help you. But what they're actually saying is, victim, you can't think for yourself, you can't cope with this, you can't make any decisions, I'm going to come and make them for you. The persecutor can be looked at as a very critical person, blaming, controlling, unpleasant, quite often looked at as a bully. And they will be at the top here saying, I'm one up on the victim who's one down on me. So they belittle the person that's in the victim role. They see people as not okay. And they'll kind of discount other people's values and dignity. And so they'll say to the victim, yes, I blame you. Quite often, though, a persecutor is quite a vulnerable person who has a fear of being a victim themselves and won't show that vulnerable side of themselves. The rescuer, on the other hand, we all kind of look at and say, hurrah for the rescuer, they came and saved us. But actually, they are in a similar kind of role to the persecutor because they sit level with the persecutor and they're looking down on the victim and they are saying, I'm one above you and you're one down on me and actually you're not okay. And so I'm going to help you from this one-up position. You need me, I can help you, I can enable you. I'm probably going to neglect my own needs. I'm probably not going to be responsible for myself and I'm going to feel guilty if you don't accept me rescuing you, but I'm going to come to your rescue. And the rescuer will discount the victim's ability to think for themselves or act on their own initiative or make any decisions for themselves. Now, we don't just always stay in this one role. We may do through life, we may have found that we find a role, it suits us, and actually we'll want to stay there. And we could sit in a victim role and we could consistently say, I'm always being persecuted and people are always coming to my rescue. Or we could put ourselves in a rescuer role and say, it's always me that goes to everyone else's rescue. But we can move around that triangle. And so, it may be during conflict that people move around and change their position on the triangle. So, for example, the boss who says to the secretary, oh, I can't believe you did that, you've made me look bad. The boss is now going to be down on me like a ton of bricks. He's taken himself from the persecutor into the victim role. Maybe the husband and wife that were having the argument, the wife is saying, well, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do something that you need to rescue me from. Actually, you're to blame. And she puts the husband in the victim role. She steps into the persecutor role. And now the parents have become the rescuer of the husband who's now in the victim role. So you can see how people can move around the drama triangle. And Nikki's saying she loves the drama triangle. Me too, Nikki. It really helps people to see what's going on when there's conflict and try and recognise where they are on the triangle and where others are on the triangle. So you need to be very aware of what role you play and what role others are playing on the drama triangle. And quite often it's easier to look at other people's roles and say, oh, I can see them being the persecutor, I can see them being the victim, but actually not recognising the role that we play on that drama triangle. Because we might feel that we're a victim and we feel that's true, we're the victim, and not realise that we're reaching for help from the persecutor or the rescuer. The rescuer might not realise that they're not needed, and they always go to the rescue of the victim whether the victim needs it or not. The persecutor might not deliberately be aggressive or bullying in their way. It's just that they're seeing the victim and it's their way of saying, I'm going to pull you out of this. And Nikki's saying, so many people try and draw you into victim mode, and it's important to remember we have a choice. And absolutely. So you need to know what role you're playing and why you're in that role, and looking at how other people are reacting to you, and are you remaining in that role. And so, you know, we need to identify, now what's that role that I'm playing? Why am I playing that role? And am I being frustrated or annoyed or angry that other people are stepping into another role? So you choose to change your part in the game. You can't control what other people do. You can't control the persecutor or the rescuer if you're the victim. And you can't control the victim if you're the rescuer. But you can control what you do. So you can decide to step off of the triangle. Because once you're off of the triangle, that triangle can't continue to operate. So, you know, take yourself off of the triangle. Don't wait for others to do it. You know, your happiness is at stake here. If you're staying in that triangle and you're consistently playing these games with other people, then you're going to feel maybe that you're going to feel victimised. You're going to feel that others are seeing you as a persecutor all the time. You're being exhausted from being the rescuer. So you need to step up and take responsibility for your own happiness, that you step off. Let's take Cinderella, for example. You know, Cinderella was put down by her ugly sisters consistently and stayed in the victim role and allowed them to be persecutor. Until her Prince Charming, the rescuer, rode in, rescued her and took her away. Now she got off the triangle at that point. However, if she goes back to see the ugly sisters, she may well step back on to that triangle again, and they become her persecutors. She's back into that victim role and she's waiting for her Prince Charming to rescue her again. Even when she's off that triangle, does she stay in that victim role, and does she let the Prince Charming continue to be her rescuer? Or does she realise that actually she's no longer a victim and she doesn't need to act that role anymore? So I hope that's helped you kind of see what the drama triangle can do, the different roles that people can play on the drama triangle, and actually for you to think about perhaps some disagreements or some conflicts or things that have happened with you, with other people, and how that's made you feel. And maybe you can identify whether you were sitting in a particular role and whether you were able to step out of that role. Be a really good exercise next time you watch EastEnders or Coronation Street, or I've never seen Love Island, but I bet it happens a lot on Love Island, that you will probably be able to see those roles being played out. Even when you're next watching a Disney film, maybe you can identify those different roles and see how people move in and out of those roles, but stay on that drama triangle instead of escaping from it and not enabling themselves to be in a much happier place because they've stepped off of the triangle. So I hope that's been helpful to you. I find the drama triangle fascinating, and it's really difficult to just try and explain it in 20 minutes, but I hope that's given you a feel for it. And if you really feel that you're stuck in a drama triangle, and it's a drama triangle that you feel you really don't know how to get out of, maybe you feel you've been stuck in a drama triangle all of your life, then counselling can really help you to understand the role that you're playing, the role that other people play, and how you perceive the roles that they're playing. But I say we look at, what's your role and how can you change your role and enable you to step off of that triangle, and maybe to stop people putting you into a victim role, stop people putting you into the rescuer role, stop people putting you into the persecutor role, or maybe enable yourself to get out of victim role or rescuer role or persecutor role. So counselling can really help you to understand that. So if you want to know more, you can always get in touch, give me a call, go on my website and send me an email, and I'd happily work with you and go into a little bit more detail about this drama triangle and understand it in the context that you have it. I'll put this onto replay on my See Clear Counselling page, and I will write a blog and put that onto my website, www.seeclearcounselling.co.uk. And as I say, if anxiety is something that you struggle with, and if you've been in a drama triangle, you can really feel the anxiety rising if that drama triangle keeps going. But we do have a support group for anxiety, and that's Beating Anxiety. So look for that in the Facebook search, answer the 3 questions, and I'll welcome you in. So I'm hoping that's been helpful to you all. Any comments, anything that you have, I'd really be interested to hear them. And if you're watching on replay, just let me know you're watching on replay and let me know what you think. So I'll be back again next week, and maybe we can take this one step further and look at what we call the compassionate triangle, and look at how you can step off the drama triangle onto the compassion triangle and really look at things in a very different way. Thanks then, people. It's been lovely to talk to you, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.